Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first ever MFSA AGM and Digital Conference. We look forward to hosting you today, and we can't wait for what the program has installed for us. On stage with me today is Henny Ferreira, our CEO, Paki Mpashlele, the MFSA chairperson, and Naresh Gopichand, the treasurer of of Microfinance South Africa. Let's see what today holds in for us, but just a couple of housekeeping rules. We are making use of the Remo platform. You've played around a bit, see how you can network with your peers and with your service providers. If you have any questions for the association, you can do that through the question and answer facility in the right-hand side. If you lose signal or you cannot hear or see us properly, please remember to refresh your browser and make sure that you make use of Chrome. You can also contact our technical event support on the chat for assistance. You will see there's an MFSA logo and you can talk to them. If there's load shedding or poor connectivity, this will definitely affect your ability and our ability to join this event. We look forward to hosting you guys today, and we cannot wait for our lovely and interesting speakers. I'm handing over to Mr. Paki Mpashlele for our AGM.
Welcome, members, to the 24th Annual General Meeting of Microfinance South Africa. Let's go to the formalities of the meeting. The first item will be attendance and apologies. Let me confirm if there are any apologies for this meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I have two apologies. Mr. Keith Reder from New Pay and then Mr. Adolf Fick. Sadly, we were informed this morning that Adolf's father passed away yesterday, and on behalf of the conference, we convey our condolences to him and the family. Adolf has been serving on this board with honor over a long time. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
On behalf of the Board of Directors, Adolf, condolences to you and your family. The next one is confirmation of quorum to check if you are corrected today.
Mr. Chairman, I can confirm that we are corrected. Thank you.
The meeting is formally open. You are corrected. The next, our last AGM was on the 14th of August, 2019. We'd like to go through the minutes and for approval of the meeting, of the minutes of the meeting of the AGM.
Mr. Chairman, we circulated the minutes. They were available. We are waiting for a proposal that the minutes be accepted and seconded. If a member from the platform could please propose that we accept the minutes.
You can do that by raising your hand in the chat function. So we need a proposer to raise their hand.
Yeah.
Kevin Smith. And then we need a seconder, Mark Seymour. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Minutes of the previous meeting are hereby approved. The next item, matters arising from the minutes of the 14th August 2019.
Mr. Chairman, there is no matters arising, and we've also not been approached with any matters, so there is no matters arising. Thank you. Okay.
Issue of minutes now closed. Now we're getting to the meat of the AGM. Our operations manager, Leonie van Pessen, will give us a report for the previous financial year. There you are, Leonie. The stage is yours.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Leonie van Pessen. I'm the operations manager at Microfinance South Africa. Today, I will be taking you through the operations report of the year in review 2019-2020. We may all have come in different ships, but we are in the same boat now. I think this is very applicable, taking the year into consideration. This year definitely was not for the faint-hearted, but we are in this together. We are standing, our members are standing, and the association is standing strong. It was a tough year for the association and for our members, but we are still here. Our mission is to promote the interest of all of our members and their clients through continuous advocacy, meaningful member interaction, people and market development. Our vision is to ensure a sustainable microfinance industry. Our values, our professional and ethical conduct, and we care about our members, their clients, the society, and the natural environment. 2020 in review. COVID-19 was definitely a big part of our year. The MFSA made a number of submissions to government to make sure that our members could trade in a normal fashion. And during lockdown level 3, it was communicated that our members could open their doors. The association communicated with our members via WhatsApp, SMSs, and Zoom conference calls to make sure that you are updated with the latest changes. Our members. Our membership from 2015 to 2020, you can see in 2016 there was a decline in membership, but we are increasing our members, and as you can see, growth is definitely taking place. Membership from 2019-2020, as you can see in July, we had a drop in membership, specifically with regards to one-man shows, but we are steadily increasing our membership base. There is some growth in the industry, and we are also seeing new entrants into this market. COVID-19 definitely had an impact on our membership base. The majority of our casualties was due to one-man shows closing and also consolidation taking place. Our membership entities, as you can see, June 2020, it was actually quite high, but then we had a drop due to the one-man shows closing down or exiting the market. The changes was due to COVID-19 casualties, consolidation, decline in smaller members, and cutting costs. Cutting costs, the first thing that they actually did was to cancel their membership with the association because there was strain on their financial means within the business. The MFSA is currently busy with our membership pilot. We have about 10 companies participating in the membership pilot. Our aim is to get all of our members onto this pilot program to charge our members less to become part of the association. At this stage, it's working quite well. All of our new members are coming onto this pilot process, and we actually want to increase our membership as soon as possible. Our outreach for 2020, on the 21st of February 2020, we had our big member meeting. On the 6th of March, we had our short sleeve session. And then during lockdown, we had a number of Zoom meetings where we communicated with our members on different changes taking place in the environment. Communication. Communication is part of the association, and that's where we get to talk to you and get information about the industry and what's happening on the ground. We've got our website, we've got SMSs, emails, phone, WhatsApp, social media, workshops, and meetings. During 2019-2020, the MFSA did about 367 posts on social media, 82 email campaigns, 31 SMSs, 24 WhatsApps. Our meetings, Zoom and team meetings, more than 700 Zoom and team meetings took place during lockdown. This is where we had meetings with industry stakeholders, with the National Credit Regulator, with the DTI, with the Reserve Bank. We also had 5 EXCO meetings, 5 FinCo meetings, a REMCO meeting, and 5 board meetings. During this year, the MFSA did a number of surveys where we interacted with our members, and we wanted to see what was happening on the ground and in the industry. This was just some of our survey results that we can show you of what the association did and what you think about the association. So the first question is, how long have you been in the microfinance industry? And as we can see that there's new entrants into this market, and there's also long-standing members of the association. Which of these statements best describe how you feel about being in the microfinance business in South Africa at present? As we can see, some of our members are struggling, but there's also definitely some light at the end of the tunnel. Considering not only revenue, but also bad debt, operational considerations, and capacity, would you say your business is currently stronger or weaker than before the start of lockdown? How has lockdown impacted your business financially? COVID-19 lockdown restrictions seem to have pushed digitization and digitalization forward even more. Are you personally comfortable, or are you still struggling with digitalization? As you can see, a number of our members are very, very comfortable. How likely are you to renew your membership with the association in the coming year? The majority is very likely. Then if we move to the National Credit Regulator, one of our biggest stakeholders who we interact with on a daily basis. So the National Credit Regulator actually focused a lot on desktop compliance audits, debt counseling, certificates, and illegal credit providers. This is also where MFSA assisted our members to be compliant. The NCR is definitely working a lot on the desktop compliance audit. So we're also telling our members, if you receive any information from the NCR, make sure that you contact the association so that we can share critical information with you. We want to state, as previously stated last year, that MFSA supports a microfinance regime which is appropriately regulated to ensure consumer protection and responsible and fair credit provision. MFSA wants to make sure that we provide you with clarity on grey areas. So if you've got any questions about the NCR, please make sure that you contact us. An update on legal matters. We had the rates and fees case, credit life matters, and the interest on initiation fees. The rates and fees matter, the taxation process is ongoing. It has been delayed due to COVID-19, but that matter is almost resolved. Credit life, the matter is still ongoing. It's self-funded by the members, and we are busy with the process. We are awaiting a court date, and we want to assure our members that this matter will proceed. The interest on initiation and service fee, the judgment was handed down on 14th of August 2020. And the charging of interest on short-term and unsecured transaction on initiation fee, where such fee is deferred, is now allowed. The charging of a pro-rata service fee applies only for the first month, and a full fee can be charged in the second month. The MFSA also won this matter with costs, and as you know, BASA was also part of this case. If we look at debit check, there was a shift in debit check implementation timelines. The ADO and NADO mandates has been shifted out to May 2021. The sunset date with both ADO and NADO moved to the end of October 2021. This is a really big project, and that's why the timelines had to be shifted. If we look at the survey that the MFSA did with regards to our members, are you ready to implement debit check? And which of these choices describe your readiness and use of debit check? And this is what our members said. The Registered Mandate Service, RMS, was also developed. This is a digital registration of mandates at the debitors' banks, and no further authentication and authorization of the mandate is required. This is an interim project that will assist with the implementation of debit check. This is still in the early window, but it's a second priority. RMS is intended to bridge the gap between the technical and business successes, and the MFSA, as part of debit check and all our deliberations, is part of an independent AC review with this Reserve Bank. So the MFSA is also advocating on behalf of our members at the South African Reserve Bank. If we look at FICA, the credit providers may become accountable institutions. Now, this was actually communicated to the association, and the MFSA had to submit our submission on the 18th of August 2020. We are of the opinion that this can become a further compliance burden to our members, and we requested that the microfinanciers be specifically excluded as accountable institutions. If you want to see this submission, MFSA can send you the documentation. Looking at the National Credit Amendment Act, our submission was made on the 9th of October 2020, and what we want to say here is MFSA is at the table. We are definitely not on the table or on the menu, but we are at the table and deliberating on behalf of our members. As stated with FIC, the National Credit Amendment Act submission can also be sent to our members on request. Let's look at the future of the association and what we are planning for next year, our goals, our plans, and our actions. Next year, the association is turning 25, and we are really looking forward to celebrating this wonderful occasion. Our strategic focus areas this year is advocacy, governance and leadership, operational efficiency, our members, and consumer centricity. And for next year, we will be focusing on all of these strategic focus areas. If we look at advocacy, we will have a strategic partner specifically focusing on government affairs. We will identify and focus on policy and legislation. Stakeholder and member engagement and outreach will be very, very important to us. We will focus on research, deploying people consciously at the right places, continuous lobbying on an ongoing process. If we look at governance and leadership, the MFSA will be looking at board evaluation and performance, and also specifically governance training and the importance thereof for the industry. Then operational efficiency. We will be looking at skilled and professional resources in everything we do and everything that we do develop. We will be financially prudent, and we will look at the finances of our members as well, making sure that they are sustainable. We will look at the retention, the growth of our members, extensive use of technology, breaching the informal and development markets, so looking at new markets and how we're going to enter those markets, multiple platforms for agile communications. Look at how we communicate with our members and how we will continue to communicate with you. We focus on our members. We want steady growth and recruitment, diversified membership, retaining our members, and different membership services. Information remains key to our members. We want them to be financially sustainable and viable, create a strong sense of community amongst our members, and MFSA memberships, and the MFSA members will become part of the pilot process. As I stated, we are busy with the pilot process where there's a reduced fee, and we want to move all of our members to the new membership fee structure. Then consumer centricity, brand growth and reputation management among all of the consumers so that they know what the association is about. Then we're also looking at a smart campaign or something similar to that to see how we can accredit our members to know that they are compliant and they focus on the consumer. I want to end off with this quote: "I never lose, I either win or learn," by Nelson Mandela. This is definitely not a year that was lost. This is a year where we won some battles, where we learned a lot of lessons, and we're definitely looking forward to 2021. I want to thank all of our members, all of our stakeholders, our board members, and our staff for their contribution during this year. Thank you very much for the contribution you've made towards the industry and also towards the MFSA.
Thank you very much, Leonie, for a very comprehensive report. You are really at the engine of this association. Great quotations from Martin Luther King and the closure from Nelson Mandela. Thank you very much for the report. Now we are going into the real stuff, numbers. Where are we? I've got on my left our treasurer, Nerish Ukam, our treasurer. I hand over to him.
Good day. I'm Niresh Kopichan. I'm the treasurer for the MFSA. I'll be presenting the financial report for the year ending 2020. Once again, the MFSA has received an unqualified audit. This is testament to the good, sound financial management. Litigation has been and is still one of the approaches used by the MFSA. This remains a significant cost and financial risk to the MFSA. Some of the key results: membership levels have increased. Income from ordinary membership is still under pressure. However, the office continues to sign up new members. Numbers have increased between 2019 and 2020. Our numbers are now at 1,435. On the income and expenses, we had a surplus for the year of 2020, 617,180. Ordinary revenue grew to 4.4%. This is due to the membership pilot program. We would like to thank our members for the donations and sponsorships. This amounted to 966,000 Rand, and there was a 30% decrease in operating expenses. Average monthly running costs remained stable, and employee costs decreased slightly. Statement of the financial position of the association. Total assets. Assets grew between 2019 and 2020 from 3.7 million to 4,300,000. Statement of financial position, equity and liabilities. Total liabilities for the association grew from 3.7 million in 2019 to 4.3 million in 2020. Cash on hand increased slightly by 0.8%, and current liabilities decreased by 1.9%. 360,000 of the current liabilities relate to the cash received in advance for the AGM and contact sessions. The association remains liquid and has a cover of 9 months of average annual expenses, and current liabilities are covered 1.28 times. The association would like to thank Doreen Roos for managing the financial soundly and for her role in the team. We would like to thank our members and sponsors. Without you, we will not be here. Thank you for your continued financial support and loyalty to the association. We would like to approve the 2020 audited financial statements. The audited financial statements are available for scrutiny and can be viewed at the association's offices. We would like a motion for the audited financial statements to be adopted as official records of the association's financial position.
Okay. What you can do now in order to approve the audited and the financial statements is by raising your hand. We require a proposer and a seconder. So if somebody can raise their hand to propose, Ananda Vessels is the proposer and Casper Geier is the seconder. Thank you very much.
Appointment of the auditors. Given the satisfactory and efficient audited conduct by Schneider and Associates, the board proposes that no change be made to the auditing firm in the current financial year. The motion that Schneider and Associates be reappointed as the auditors for 2021.
Once again, for the approval of the auditors, we need a proposer and a seconder. Casper Geier, thank you for proposing, and Danny Zandamela, thank you for seconding.
The Finance Committee would like to thank the members and the service providers for their continued support. These are indeed challenging times for all of us, and we look forward to working with all of you in the future. Thank you.
Well done to our treasurer and the team. Our financials look better. And thanks for members for approving the financials and for approving our new auditors. Now we are going to the highlight of our AGM. On my right now, I've got the leader, basically, of this organization or association, Mr. Henny Ferreira. What have you been doing for the past 12 years, Mr. Ferreira? Can you just give us a report?
Good morning, members of Microfinance South Africa. This is indeed my privilege to address you for the 17th time at an AGM, and it's certainly in a very, very different format. In a very short time, the virus has changed our lives in ways which we could not imagine in our wildest dreams or in our worst nightmares. Our individual and collective experiences the last 7 or 8 months has shown us that all of us are so closely connected to one another, and we are so vulnerable that in a way it's changed our lives, our views of humanity, and certainly also our views of one another. To those who have suffered and we have families and friends who had to pay the highest price, you are in our thoughts. Those holes in our hearts will never mend. To those of you who have been fortunate to survive and who are healthy, we are all, as a humanity, extremely thankful for that, and we look forward to the future. Most of us have suffered financial and other losses and have gone through tough times, but I also believe we've learned to understand that we are all effectively on the same planet and in the same boat. No one of us have chosen to be affected by COVID. What we do, however, have is the choice as to how we respond to it. As Microfinance South Africa, we are deeply embedded in the South African society, and what happens in this society affects all of us. And whether it happens in Cape Town or whether it happens in KZN or whether it happens in the Northern Cape, ultimately we all see and experience directly and indirectly what the other experiences. When this year dawned on January 2020, our economy was in trouble. Subsequently, we had the pandemic, and the economy has been hurting. It will be easy for us to blame COVID. The reality is that we were in for a tough year in any case. Our choice is now to respond. The South African society will change. It will continue to change, and it will continue to change for a very, very long time. Our society, as we speak, is extremely stressed, and therefore it's also logic that we as individuals will be stressed and our businesses will be stressed. Our choice is to respond. To be stagnant and to choose to do nothing effectively will be suicidal. The choice is for action. The choice is for being considered. The choice is for being rational. And the choice is for being relevant. When we say this and we look at our consumer base, the people with whom we do business every day, we know that the service that we provide is an important service. We know that these very same people which we serve are also very dear to the politicians and the government and the state of this country, because they are many. And many of them have suffered through this period. And not only do we as businesses, but also government is facing a choice between livelihood, people's lives, and the economy. It is therefore absolutely logic to expect that we will have interests of political parties, of government in our industry. We would have chosen as business people to take a neutral position and we just do business. The reality is that is not the way the world's work. On top of it, certain changes, certain transformational actions, which has been delayed for many years, are all of a sudden here. We engaging digitally as we sit in this conference. It is proof that we have to engage in different fashions, that we in fact can do so. And the very same principle also applies to the way in which we engage with our consumers and with even our friends and our enemies. So as we look forward to 2020 as Microfinance South Africa, and we accept the cloak of leadership and responsibility for our members, credit providers as well as service providers, our positioning as an association is crucial. The positioning is not only determined by the board, by the executives, or by one or two individuals. The positioning is determined by our collective response to the South African situation. The responses which we had in mind a year ago or 2 years ago will not be sufficient, and it requires us all to, as a collective, rethink and recalibrate how we respond. In simple terms, members, ladies and gentlemen, it means the following. Technology will be part and parcel of our deliberations, of the way in which we do business and the way in which we engage going forward, at levels which we have never seen before. Secondly, politicians, the state, government, will have an interest in our sector. That interest will remain for generations, given the nature of our society. And we are privileged, ladies and gentlemen, we are privileged to serve people which, if we were not there, would not have had that service. And that message is hooking in several places. I can tell you from my experiences daily, working with government and working with the central bank and working with regulators. Legislation, regulation, directives will continue to roll out from the state machinery. Our industry will continue to be under the spotlight. There will continue to be refinement in terms of the areas which will be legislated or regulated on. And in particular, we can rest assured that there will be interest in terms of debt intervention and people who are over-indebted, payment systems, the debit check system, which we all know about, money laundering in the FICA space, data with regards to POPIA, and even legislation pertaining to the flows of money in South Africa via the payment system. Those things are complicated, but if it is not done and it's not done properly, we will actually find ourselves in an economy which is chaos. Financial services is a highly regulated industry, and part and parcel of being in the industry is playing in a space as such. Historic and ongoing litigation from the MFSA in relation to several matters will continue to be with us. It will continue to impact on our relationships, and it's part and parcel of what we do for our members. That, however, does not say that we have to absolutely, in light of the bigger changes in South Africa, continue our lobbying efforts, our advocacy efforts, and we are in an environment currently where all parties realize that we need to get around the table and that we need to talk to one another in order to go forward. Having said this, representing basically small businesses, people who are investing their own money, you can rest assured that the cost of doing business and the threats and undertones and dangers of over-regulation is very, very high on our agenda. Having said that, those who choose to play outside of the rules and undermine those of us who play in a respectable way as good corporate South African citizens, we will not stand for that, and we will continue that battle. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why we exist is to serve our consumers. Ultimately, the consumer will vote. Ultimately, the consumer will underwrite our business. The latest research shows very clearly that through COVID, our members played a significant role in terms of their engagement with their members and their clients. And in fact, that clients continue to strive to serve our members and meet their obligations. If ever there was a compliment, this is it. While we were fearful at one stage that in the COVID situation, our customers will be sucked up and collected by other institutions, the reality has actually been different. So on that note, I think the message is, look after your consumer, look after your customer, service him well, service him with dignity. He and she will then in turn become your true underwriter. And that underwriting is far more powerful than any form of litigation or any form of regulation and legislation. I'm extremely grateful today to express my appreciation to you as members for working with us, especially in the last year and more so since the end of February. We have had very few casualties. There was fears of massive casualties, and it's not over. But the fact that you're standing and you are supporting the association, thank you for that. Thank you to our service providers. You continue to play a massive role in this industry, and especially around the data and the payment space, this will become even more important. Please keep up the work and continue to engage. Thank you to the staff who work with us every day of our lives. Thank you to other associations which have been engaging with us and where we've really had to find middle roads in very complicated situations. Thank you for the professionalism of which we can engage, although we often differ. And then finally, also thank you to the board for steering for an extended term through a very different year. I am looking forward to the new term. We have a choice to engage. We have a choice to make the difference. We have the choice to believe in the future. I certainly am bullish that it can be done. But having said that, it's going to be tough and it will require true grit. I salute you, I honor you, and I thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that was a very good report. Thank you, Henny. Up next will be our chairperson's report by Paki Mpashlele.
Okay. My name is Paki Mpashlele, the outgoing chairperson of Microfinance South Africa. My term as the chairperson of the board ends today, and my 2-year term as a member of the board of directors of Microfinance South Africa also ends today. Elections are going to happen in the next hour or two. Somebody just commented that what you are doing now in this forum, or in this meeting, is opposite of what happened in the United States a few days ago, where the president, Mr. Donald Trump, campaigned for 18 months, lost elections, but refused to vacate office. What is happening here? We vacate office and wait for elections to decide on the leadership. Honored guests, beloved members, service providers, sponsors, like our President Cyril Ramaphosa normally addresses us, fellow South Africans, I welcome you to the 24th Annual General Meeting of Microfinance South Africa. At the same time, like we normally greet each other in South Africa as a rainbow nation, you people in the northwest province of our country, you in the Free State, Dumelang, Kuruman, Cape Town, Pretoria, Nabomspruit, Khuyemore. Good morning, South Africa from Johannesburg. My homeboys in the Limpopo area, Sikukuni Land, Zanen, Tovela. My homeboys again in the province, right up north, Venda, Kazamkulu area, Sanibonani, Molweni, Abusheni, Nimachoroni. It is also for the first time as a board of directors where our vice chairpersons and the board is reflective of the Rainbow Nation and the gender balance. We also have people on our board from diverse places across the globe. Allow me to quote the speech just delivered by our CEO, Mr. Henny Ferreira. As Microfinance South Africa, we are inextricably embedded in the fabric of the South African society. Let me just talk about the members I just greeted. Who are they? Where do they come from? Who constitute the Microfinance South Africa? I just talked to 350 experienced and successful entrepreneurs of our nation. I just talked to the people who run and own their businesses. I just talked and greeted 55% of the people that I just greeted have got more than 15 years of success in the business environment. 80% of them have been there for more than 5 years. Some of the people I just greeted, wherever they are in the country, like I said, run their businesses with a turnover of more than R1 billion. Some of them have more branches than banks and other financial institutions. Some of them have got bigger companies than some of the Johannesburg-listed exchange institutions. Any player offering services of banks in South Africa outside the banking industry generally should be within our space. And Microfinance South Africa is their mouthpiece. The people also I just greeted are at the cutting edge of development finance in South Africa. What do? Unlike the stereotype, they don't offer payday loans only. Yes, a lot of them do. A lot of them have got few branches, 1 or 2. We don't deny that. But what is clear is that few people acknowledge what they do within the development space. They offer housing, home improvement, sanitation, finance, education. They offer credit rehabilitation for those people that are outside the mainstream now. They offer business loans, small businesses. They offer emergency loans. They offer car finance. What I'm saying to you now is that we are not only attendants, we are not the people who normally attend conferences, develop documents, have strategic planning sessions, and so on. We are right at the coalface. We are where the tire hits the tar. We are where policies being made and decisions are taken and implemented, where systems are developed and implemented, where we meet our clients right in the far areas of our country. Unlike the banks and the other institutions who normally use other people's funds, the members I just greeted, who are also making sure that our clients that are excluded get their products and services. They use their own funds, they risk with their own money, and they use their life savings to run their own business. We are talking about self-funded entrepreneurs and business people. Let me address the moral space and where Microfinance South Africa operates within the scope of the financial institutions and the financial industry of South Africa, right from the policy making to the regulatory space. Let me admit that before 1992, it is arguable that the space that you are in was almost underground. That's why maybe the loan shark comes from, because of the practices that were not within the legal system. In 1992, the Finance Minister, Derek Keys, passed an exemption notice. That's when we started to see a formalization and legalization of this industry and started to grow. But what Microfinance South Africa, at the time called MLA, started doing was that we want to be within the framework, not as an exemption, but within the mainframe of the country, within the mainframe of the industry and the regulation. That is why even the current CEO was part of the delegation, part of the people who were lobbying for this act. What does it mean? It means that we have won since 2005 to be part and parcel of the development of financing of the country. Whoever charges rates, whoever charges interest, whoever charges fees, whether you are a small player in Kuruman, you are a small player in Lusukisuku in the Eastern Cape, you are a small player somewhere in Hammanskraal, and you are a member of Microfinance South Africa, you charge the same rate, the same interest, the same service, the same credit life fees as any bank in South Africa, whether you are African Bank, you are Capitec, you are Standard Bank, you are Nedbank, any one of them, ABSA, we charge the same rates, the same fees. Therefore, this narrative that our rates and our services are exploitative are nothing further from the truth. Strategic debate within our movement or within our association. There's been a lot of debate in terms of what is the strategy of MFSA, especially given the recent developments of COVID and the tensions that have been emanating within our members and even in our boardrooms. Is it lobbying versus litigation? Do we lobby? There are some people in government, political, bureaucrats, and so on, that MFSA is there just to fight government. It's not cooperating. Let me address it, because you cannot always run away from it. We believe that of all the things that I mentioned, that our members are law-abiding citizens, that our members are running professional institutions, that our members are within the legal framework, our members have been fighting to be part of the Credit Act, and so on. Our members are offering development finance. Our members offer services for people who are excluded. Our members use their own funds to run their own businesses. I think we've got a good story to tell. We've got a good argument, and so on. Legal route should be the last resort, not the first. We cannot start by fighting before we talk. Anybody who fears debate is the person who doesn't have a good argument or who fears that he cannot argue around the table. We are sure that we've got a story to tell. Our argument is more powerful. Therefore, our job is to present it and to persuade people. Like I said, the legal route should be the last resort. Then what has been the result of our strategy? I think the results need to talk whether the strategy works or not. We chose to go for the legal cases that we've got a great chance of winning. Why? Because the legal route and fight is not the first option, it's to persuade. What are the outcomes of the strategy? Our treasurer just showed that last year, operational costs went down by 30%. We moved from a negative of 1 million rand to a surplus of almost 670,000 rand. Therefore, our focus was on our members, not on other issues like the legal fights and so on. We did win some legal battles, but like I said, it was not the first option. On the regulatory side and policy making, we are represented in all bodies that influence regulation and policy making within the finance and banking as MFSA. We've got greater influence than ever before within the policy making processes of South Africa. How did we get it? It was because of the power of persuasion. I cannot leave this podium without talking about COVID and its impact on all of us. There have been a lot of stories talked about COVID, but this has been the most challenging time of our lives. I do remember some times when our members would come to us and say, you know what? On the left side of my branch, there's a bank. On my left side of my branch, there's a bank. Opposite, there are two banks, and they're all open, and I'm closed. What must I do? They offer the loans. I offer the same loans, but now I'm closed. What is MFSA doing? Those were challenging times. So what did we do as MFSA leadership? We did consult from regulators, lawyers, politicians, command council of the COVID regulation. Everybody was saying, you are not supposed to open. The reality was saying, giving our members open. You can imagine the tension that was going through. The survival instinct, because our board members are practitioners. They've got their life savings, like I mentioned. They were saying, my instinct says open, otherwise I lose all my investments. The instruction was saying, remain closed. Those were the tensions. The only option for us was to say, as an institution, as an association, we cannot instruct or advise our members openly to go and run the businesses while we're being advised to do otherwise. Therefore, the persuasion and lobbying became the only option for us. Since COVID started, we embarked on different surveys. 60% of our members responded and saying their businesses are worse off post-lockdown. 48% are experiencing an increase in default. That's the impact. Some argue that time when they were closed, they lost clients to the banks and so on. We've got to live with it. But the greed that we refer to in this theme of this annual general meeting continued within our membership. Particularly Plane, Helen Plane, Beram, and they are coming out stronger. Why do I say they're coming out stronger? Are we just bluffing ourselves? From the survey we did about a month ago, a lot of them came with a lot of strategies, diverse, different ways of doing their own businesses. Let me just mention them as a way of showing how they reacted to the COVID. They never gave up, our members. Some of them reduced their staff count. Others closed their non-performing branches. Others reduced their costs, including salaries. Of course, people lost some jobs. Others changed their lending policies. Others increased their branch network, believe it or not, so that they increased their efficiency. They became bigger out of the COVID environment. Others invested more into technology, so they became more efficient. Others got onto a create aggressive marketing strategy to increase their scale and efficiencies. Others introduced stricter approval criteria, so they became more compliant. So others came with more robust income verification models within their approval processes. Others shifted their client base from more risky environment and industries and shifted them into the platform where the chances of retrenchments are lower. Others shifted to an online and virtual offices. Why do I mention all of this? It shows that our members are at the ground, at the cold face. They adapt, they are agile, and they can react and act as times change. As I move to the next one, unlike the banks that are bigger, difficult to turn around like a big ship, our members are right at the, like I mentioned, at where the tire hits the tar. How did we achieve all of this? Under the frustrations, tensions, where some of our members and some of our fellow directors were at the chance of losing their lifetime investments, where the investments were hanging on the line. How did we do that? It was because we all know that we were embedded in the fabric of South Africa. We still believe in the power of persuasion. We were forced to work together. And all I can say is thank you to the CEO. Of more importance, thanks to the staff. I would like members, meaning Microfinance South Africa members, and South Africa in general, to acknowledge the depth of leadership of this outgoing board of directors. History and posterity won't miss what you have achieved. You as staff members, you as members, especially you as the board of directors. Not only achievement in stabilizing this crucial industry, but also in making it emerge stronger with more innovation, capacity to grow, and the ability and the willingness to serve this country. How do you leave MFSA? Where is it now? And how is it going to happen? And what is its prognosis into the next 2-3 years? I think our operations manager has covered that. It is clear that the membership is resilient. In fact, it's slightly increasing. From the survey, 96% indicated that they see the benefit of belonging to South Africa, belonging to Microfinance South Africa. 98% said they're still going to renew their membership in the next year. So we don't expect membership to go down. 95% said they're comfortable with the process and structures of MFSA. 86% says the governance and leadership of MFSA is transparent. So from the survey, there it is, 2021, 2022, here we come. Let me talk about the future. Based on the survey results, like our operations manager has mentioned, there are two challenges that come to my mind as the outgoing chairperson. 14% of our members still believe that MFSA is not transparent enough as an association. 64 of our members are clear and were clear in their response. They say, going forward, MFSA needs to come up with programs and projects that benefit members as business people and as entrepreneurs. They like to see MFSA play a more active role in the way they run their businesses, whether it's capacity, resources, and so on. As I conclude, as this board of directors bow out, like I mentioned, within an hour from now, I just lack words of gratitude. More specifically to those practitioners who have been with us since the past 24 years, and the members, board members, who out of their willingness to serve the country, the association, without even being paid and without even being practitioners, are selling their time and resources to MFSA and the nation. Here I mentioned Israel's Kosana, Mahautam Patlele, who have been adopted. And all the members, board members, Baya Danki, Realabora, thanks very much, Siyabonga Kakulu. I cannot end this without thanking the person who handed me the baton and who guided us through this person, Oker Steenkamp, who has been a chairperson for a long time. I know, Oker, it's not easy to move out of the steering wheel and being the deputy. To my right-hand lady, Francis Fraser, thank you very much. These are my two chairpersons. To the CEO, Henny Ferreira, I still don't know how you survived. To the staff of MFSA, all you ladies, What more can I say? You managed to go through all the frustrations from all of us, be it from the board members, your leader, the leadership of MFSA at operational level, regulators, and of course your families, children, husbands, and so on. It has been a very trying time. To the members, thank you very much. Leadership is an honor to cherish and be respected. Given some of the experiences that we have in the political space, when it was very tough, none of you ever gave us a feeling of ever humiliating us with a motion of no confidence. In spite of all the challenges, we knew you were behind us. For those who believed in us, and yet they think that we never delivered according to their expectations, that we lived below the expectations, we are very sorry. We apologize profusely for disappointing you. But just believe and just take it from the bottom of our hearts. We really tried our utmost best during the most trying times of our lives. May the wind of our beloved country continue to blow our way, pushing us forward and not against us. May the African sun continue to shine on this blessed organization. And may the rain of Africa shower microfinance with blessings. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mapuslela. Paki, friend and colleague, leader, thank you for those words. And I think on that note, also thank you to everybody who's been presenting here today. And there will be further work later. So thank you for all of you. And just to confirm that board members are not paid employees of or paid board members, they do so ex gratia. So thank you for that, and thank you for the various presentations. It's now my job to announce the board of directors, and important to then just give all members some background. First of all, our board members are elected for a 2-year period. Secondly, we have the option to co-op members, and the co-option period is for a year. We have called for nominations, and in terms of the nominations we've received, there is no need for an election. So the following members have then been elected and is duly elected as members of the board. The picture which you see right now is Paki, which you just seen, Francis Fraser, the current vice chair, Naresh, the current treasurer, Mark, a previous chair, which we all know, Okkert Steenkamp, also a previous chair, Stoffie from Bloemfontein, Israel, Mariette Isner, and then David Wang. So the board members for the period 2021 is, let me just go through them again, please, Leonie. David, Mariette, go back, I'm going to reverse them. David Wang from the SATSI, Mariette from Royal Finance, Israel Noko, Stoffie from Bloemfontein, Okkert, M&H, Pretoria, Mark Seymour, Tutukani, Naresh from Atlas, Francis, and Paki, who is with Mafuri. To these guys, thank you very much for making yourself available. Our next step is that we will have a board meeting next Wednesday. At that board meeting, we will then also talk about the governance structure for the year ahead. You will know that we changed our memorandum of incorporation via a round robin, a digital round robin, in order to enable us to have this board meeting in a digital fashion and this AGM in a digital fashion. There will be a meeting next week. At that meeting, if all goes according to plan, we will appoint office bearers, the various structures which we think is relevant, and if need be, we will also do some co-option. So on that note, thank you to everybody. In terms of motions, we have not received any motions. If there is no motions, then I can then also announce that our plan is to have our next AGM on the 19th of August 2021. 19th of August 2021. The exact format which we will follow will be determined by the circumstances. But I think we've crossed the bridge in terms of how we do things, which will never be the same again. And let me then also reiterate that next year we will be 25 years old, a quarter of a century, to Parky and Leonie's points, which is a long time to be around, and that it will be worth a celebration. So on that note, Parky, I would like to hand over to you to close the meeting. But from my side, thank you for everybody who's done the work. I need to say, we're sitting at the studio in the Balalaika Hotel in Sandton, and while we've been presenting this morning, we had 3 power failures, and we're still going. So if ever you want to talk about grit in the boardroom, we were tested this morning. And thank you for the team who's supporting us, and also to the staff. Parky, final words from you?
Thank you very much. It has been a big challenge. It's a new way. When it started, we never thought it will happen. It is impossible until it happened. For all the frustrations, the team, the technical, the planners, and everybody, the members who managed to struggle and frustrations of logging in, I think it was a big success. We have adapted. For the presenters that are here in the studio, it is not easy to watch the screen and not be able to see your reactions. On that note, I officially announce closure of this 24th Annual General Meeting. Looking forward to seeing you next year on the 19th of August for the 25th Annual General Meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Parky. And then if I may make an announcement, we're going to, and you will see this is the way the Remo platform has been set up. There's a 15-minute comfort break. I really want to suggest you actually take a comfort break wherever you are, have a leg stretch, and then we will start the proceedings at 11:15 for the conference part. Far less serious, but equally important, and we're looking forward to working with you. On that note, thank you very much. Okay.